New sweats. Working hard, got 2 jobs, Friday night, but thank you Lord, it's 2 checks. It's 2 checks. Yeah. Game of spades, being a flight, I'm talking 10 straight books, you goddamn right, now who's next? Off my table. Who's next? Yeah. Huh? I don't dance a boogie. Somebody tell a DJ, put on my song. We grown and we want a 2-step. That's the new flex. Yeah, 2-step to this. 2-step. Everybody, come on. Come on.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dragon Riders Media. I'm your host, Dragon Rider, baby. And today, man, I got some very special guests, man. Hey, I've been trying to get these people on the channel for a couple years now, man. And man, I'm pretty excited, man. If y'all don't already know, man, hey, these guys are from the Skypath community, man. And the team, dude, these guys are rocking it. If you ain't been paying attention, look, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm OG Skypath. If you ain't been paying attention to Skypath for a while now, you are missing out on something fantastic. In my opinion, this is not financial advice, but it's advised that you listen to some information. But anyway, here we go to the stage. We got Omar Shands and Up Crypto, man. What is going on, guys?
What's up, my man?
What is up, man? This is a very exciting day for me, man. Look,
hopefully we got you extra hype with some info.
Dude, you guys are killing it, man. And you know, it's great to finally get you guys on the channel so we can get into some stuffs, man. Man, you guys are great, dude. The amount of the utility behind the tech is nuts, and there's a lot of people that aren't paying attention because they looking for the next PP or doo-doo or whatever the case may be. They looking for all that garbage instead of looking towards tech, man, because tech is the future, especially blockchain tech.
Oh yeah, man. Deep in real world assets. I think, you know, trust me, I look for some of the doo-doo too, though. So I understand. But man, you have got to you got to have a small amount of doo-doo in your bag, but the rest of it needs to be serious.
Absolutely. I always say 90%, serious blue chips, whatever you want to call it. You got 90% long-term investments. You got 10% bullshit. Omar, you muted, man.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
I think the funny thing about it, most people that got into the space don't even know what a blue chip is, right? They might know what a layer 0, layer 1 is. They don't understand, like, you got SoFi products, you got stuff that hasn't even been built on chain, like similar to what we're doing. And it's hard for them to kind of get into that because most of the influencers, unlike you, who are super dope, I know you in real life, you're an amazing person, you work hard. You understand this stuff, what the world, what crypto, what DeFi, what blockchain is trying to migrate to long term. And I want people to, and like, if I could just show people like all the manipulation and the bullcrap that we see on the daily, it would change your perspective because everybody's not going to make $1 million off another SHIB or Doge. Those days are done because so much manipulation and bullcrap behind these projects. You know, like if you get to $1 billion market cap, what's the odds of it getting to a $2 billion market cap and you got into $1 billion, you put $100 in, which the most you can do is double your money. It doesn't make sense standpoint. But is this dope? I mean, the blockchains are doing really well. These networks, they're making a lot of fees and mass adoption is coming. Have we had a conversation 3 years ago? You would never see an ETF, Ethereum ETF, and none of this stuff, right? But now you're starting to see this, right? So I'm excited, and I think we definitely going to shake a lot of heads, and we're gonna show people that when you're building something that's really dope that solves real world problems and make it easier, oh man, mass adoption is coming. So that's why we have like Jason coming on board, and that's why we we trust you, man. We try to surround ourselves around great people, and I wish people could hear some of the conversations that we have. We'd be at $1 billion market cap.
Ching, 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 ching.
Man, if people could see just our emails, we could just do a snippet of just some of the emails that we have back and forth from a company perspective, and people would just go, they'd be shocked at just the emails.
Well, here,
Go ahead, my friend.
Well, I was gonna say here's the problem, man. Like like we said, a lot of the new investors and a lot of the just straight degens, man, they're looking to 2x, 3x on some random garbage that's here today, gone tomorrow, and they're not necessarily looking for the whole excitement thing only lasts so long. The hype only lasts so long, so then you got to be like, okay, well, after the hype, this token's gone. But when you're talking about something that excuse me, a business, I gotta stop saying project, a business that is actually building some stuff, they have real world utility along with that. That's when you start looking like, okay, let me start looking at this as something that's going to potentially go the mile, because not everything's going to go the mile. But just because you're quiet, just because there's not a whole lot of and hey, look at me, doesn't mean that it's not worth looking at. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, a lot of people, and that's why I like to do what I do, is to point people in a direction of the stuff, the unseen, the quiet ones that are actually doing some things. You know what I mean?
Appreciate you.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things, I've actually been in the tech startup and high growth space for a long time, north of 20 years. I'm getting on up there in age. I was actually a young vice president of sales for a company that went public way back, became $1 billion publicly traded company. So I've got a lot of experience, in high growth startups. And one of the things that we always have preached is tech and team. Like, one of the things, and I'm kind of old school when I talk about things like, I love the crypto and stuff and the NFTs and the excitement and the fun. And I'm like all about gaming and NFTs and gaming. And I can't wait because I want to do all that stuff because that's fun. Yeah. And I'm excited about the metaverses and all the futuristic stuff coming. But at the same time, I approach all this stuff from an old school kind of mentality. And so whenever I look at projects and companies and all that stuff, I always try to preach like team and technology, like who's the team behind what you're building. And then what's the technology that they're building, and don't get it twisted. Like everybody in the Web3 space is technology. So what is the technology? Is it, where is it taking us from a next level perspective? And can that team get you to that next level, long term? Because like you just said, here today, gone tomorrow. How many tokens? I was looking at some numbers and I've published some numbers, in the startup space, people always talk about, 95% of startups fail. And that's been around for a long time. People have said that for a very long time. And so in the Web3 space, you hear a lot of these same things over and over and over. Like you hear 95% of all cryptos fail. And the reason that you hear that is because somebody said it and then everybody repeats it. But that's actually not true at all. The failure rate is closer to 100%. It's actually probably 99.99999%. And you look at these numbers because, if you look at like Binance and some of these big chains, there have been hundreds of thousands of projects and NFTs and tokens that have launched on these chains. Hundreds of thousands on one chain. How many tokens and projects can you name me in Binance in their ecosystem that are ultra successful? You know what I mean? Like it's only a small handful. So then you're thinking like, wait a minute, can I name 5? Maybe. Can I name 10? Probably not. So you're talking about like 5 out of 250,000 on one network. So the failure rate is really, really massive in the space. And so then you look at like, okay, that's why I always encourage you and people that are looking at investing, and why I'm super excited about SkyPath, because the team is massively significant. And the technology is a life-saving technology that is desperately needed. It's a technology that it doesn't matter where you are on the globe, can be utilized. And it's easy to get behind. It's an easy narrative to get behind. Who doesn't want to support something like this? So I think it makes sense.
Okay. Well, before we get into Sky, let's get a little background on some men behind Sky. So, hey, man, we start over Omar, man. How did you get into, how'd you get into the Web3 space?
So long story short, I built it from anybody else. I just want to put that out there. I just was fortunate enough to understand, blockchain technology because I was actually a bank compliance officer, right? And I believe it started in 2017. I got into like all the layer 0, layer 1s, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Monero, I'm like, this is pretty cool because if we can send funds instantaneously, like XRP to all over the world, man, that solves the problem. Because if you send a wire, it could go to the wrong, account, your money is gone. I'm like, dude, this is immutable. You can track it. Dude, this is dope. So I started to get into like the blue chips, right? And I like that help. I seen the first, like the run up in December 2017, right? I'm like, oh my God, you can make money into this. Then it just felt it fueled me to want to learn it. And I was telling all my friends, like, hey man, you need to go buy Bitcoin. It's like at $3,000. It's a low under 10K. And it's like understood it. Like I looked at the supply, I understood because I was a bank guy, right?
Yeah.
And I started looking into the DEX and stuff. I'm like, hold up, what is DeFi? Like, how is this stuff decentralized? It didn't make sense to me because I knew that you had the on-ramp and all this stuff. Then from that point on, I really started to research it, what blockchain technology was, and I knew for a fact this is the future, right? Then I started looking when the first cryptocurrency was made, and I want people to understand what DigiCash is and all the people behind this stuff. It wasn't Bitcoin popped up out the blue. No, this stuff been going on since the late 90s, guys. And search Nakamoto and everything behind Bitcoin. I'm like, oh man, this is going to take off because you got people actually pushing it, right? And they trying to enforce it. Then after that, I got into eToro. I was a top trader in eToro. They actually had my picture plastered on the website. I actually get paid from eToro. Then after that, I got an opportunity to build the fraud program for Uphold, the BSA AML fraud program for the UK, EMA, and US. And from that point on, man, I just knew this was the future, right? And I knew any kind of resistance from people, they don't want change. But when you start seeing the big boys come in, you saw regulations start to come in, you see companies start to accept it, you better get on that ship first because this is to transfer generational wealth. Then from that standpoint, I got into the DeFi stuff. I think my first major DeFi play was SHIB, right? I made a little money in SHIB, not a lot, but I'm like, oh man, this is super cool. It felt unreal, right? Like, hold up. $100 turned to $2,000. This can't be real. Then that just felt me. Then because I was a blue chip guy, and I started to see all the scams and all this stuff. But when I knew that this is real, because anytime I got a public company like Coinbase that's starting to get wallets and get into DeFi, they're going to onboard you in KYC. This is not going anywhere. And that's when I knew, like, man, this is it for me. And how I got to Sky, I actually knew one of their previous employees who brought me on board. And I met David, and I kind of say, hey, man, what you guys are building, you could put this on chain. Just think about, because blockchain is pretty much a server, a cloud server. It's just house data. And most people, right? They think it's some convoluted. What's the block? They won't even know. They tell you it's immutable, untracked. They don't know exactly what it is, how you connect the API to a blockchain, right? And house the data on it, right? And from that point on, I worked myself up, became the president of the company. And I tried to find this great people, and I seen Jason. I'm like, oh man, I like this guy. He has the experience, and he's like us. He sees the vision. He knows like it's not going to be easy. People are going to doubt you. And once I brought him on board and kind of seen behind the scenes of all the actual stuff that we are doing and the people that we deal with, he was on board. But that was just how I got into it. And Jason, you go ahead. You could, my high level, what I've been into, man. It's so many opportunities on my way. I mean, let me go back even a second. People, I had an opportunity with Meta to help with their Demi project. Guys, remember that? Their stablecoin. I turned that down. I had Gate.io reach out to me for their chief compliance officer position. I turned it down, because I know they couldn't get this and stuff in the U.S. I understand this stuff, right? Because look at now, the SEC sent out well knows the Uniswap, and they look at their parent company and Robinhood and Coin. I understand this stuff because if you go back to 2008, when the financial crisis and the Dodd-Frank Act was implemented, it's the same thing. They go after the big boys, enforce the regulations, and everybody else have to conform to it. So I see that. So I'm like, hey, we gonna get before it. We gonna get ahead of this, and we gonna rock it out because all these meme coin stuff, that's gonna die eventually. Because two things coming through. You can't start a business and nobody know who the hell you are. But these people aren't smart enough to understand when you take that money off chain, you gotta usually go to a damn CEX. They flag you. I worked at CEX. I understand this. Anyway, that's enough. I ain't gonna tell people. Let them continue. I know what they're doing. You know, it's unregulated. Have fun, but come on, man, do people the right way. So that's it.
You know, one thing that I always talk about, and I think that you know, having an Omar and his background and experience in what he does is unbelievably underestimated. And the reason that I say that is because, you know, when you're trying to grow a company and build a business, you're not just thinking about like what you're doing today. Like, I'm not thinking about like, hey, you know, what am I doing on this, you know, podcast and live stream today? We're thinking about like all of the obstacles that are going to potentially be in front of us over the next 2-3 years. And so, you know, we in crypto right now, we're in this this really gray area from a regulatory standpoint, et cetera. And Omar and I have had these conversations we have these conversations all the time. And the reality of it is that you have to be ready for whatever happens regardless. And so, you know, could the government say, hey, all this stuff is a security? Or could the government, you know, start handing out fines? Or there's so many things that can and will happen. And so I think, you know, one of the things that you're going to start seeing in crypto very, very fast, and it's going to be because you see today, like, look at, you know, Trump. He came out and supported crypto after RFK supported crypto. And then guess who came out 30 minutes later and said, hey, I want crypto too. You know, you've got Biden, he wants crypto. And so like, then you have to think like, how are we going to make it safe as quick as possible? And so so the government is really going to start putting their hands in the cookie jar now.
Yeah.
So you have to be ready for anything. And one of the ways to make crypto more safe is to clamp down on regulations, meaning register as a business, register as an entity, completely docs, etc. And so you're going to see, you know, I've seen the argument where people are like, oh, well, there's thousands and thousands of people making crypto. They can't regulate all those folks. They can't dox all those folks. And the answer is 100% yes, they can. And you know how they do that? Through the DEXs and through the centralized exchanges. You telling me that if the government says, hey, Mr. Uniswap owner, if you don't dox all of your projects, you're going to owe us $10 million in fines. Guess what's going to happen? Then overnight, Uniswap will shut down whoever doesn't dox. And that was a very long-winded way to say that having an Omar on your team who can bring you through the regulatory challenges and already be thinking of that is massive for the holders, because there's nothing that can possibly happen in the landscape in this ecosystem where we're not going to make it out the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the whole problem that I see with the SEC right now, specifically the SEC, is you know, of course they want to throw out some type of regulation. They want to try to enforce some things, but nothing is clear and concise. But and then at the same time, you know, when you have, you know, say Robinhood reaches out and says, hey, you know what? I want to conform to all of your rules. I want to, and then next thing you know, they get served notices. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would I come to you? Why would I try to conform to these rules when all you're going to do, when first of all, your rules aren't clear at all. You can't make a decision on any of this shit. But then when I come to you and say, hey, you know what? I want to get into I want to be 100 with you. I want to be on the level. And then you serve me, you throw me in court. It's like, come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Stuff for one to try to impose regulation. So they call that self-identification, right? But the thing with the SEC, they can only get you for like security related issues, because there's no entity actually governs crypto in the US. I think you had the CFTC. I could get acronym wrong, but they actually manage it, have like regulatory oversight. But nobody in the US, the government hasn't appointed like an agency like the CFPB or the OCC or the SEC that actually oversees digital assets, right? And I think that's the use based off some of the chat I've heard, that some of the regulations that are being drafted. And people use LegiScan and search cryptocurrency. I'll tell you all the laws and bylaws, statutes that are being proposed in the government, right? Senate, House, all that stuff, right? It's no entity that actually governs. That's why the SEC can't get them for like bad practices are harming consumers or not making people KYC. They're going to get you for, hey, this is security, selling security, this and the third, right? Go look at the Wells notices, right? So that's why they do that. But they don't really have meat in the game as far as going out there for having insufficient policies and procedures or government documentation, KYC program, right? But they have that because you still have the consumer protection stuff from the financial standpoint when you're paying with fiat. So it's like it's 22, and I try to tell people, this act as if we're being regulated. That way, when the regulations do come, because they do give you a grace period, you don't have to scramble and try to put some piecemeal, some stuff together. You're already you kind of thinking in that manner. So that's what people like, guys, let's just understand, like, it's cool, the memes. I want people to make money, but it's a lot of these projects have no intrinsic value, right? What I mean by that, they're not generating money outside of that ecosystem. And when you look at projects like us, we actually have a generating mechanism. We have a real product. So look at all the projects that make money are either and SoFi is coming up, but GameFi is coming up, but layer 0, layer 1, layer 2 networks, they make all the money because people are utilizing their platform network to trade, and they have to use that utility token as a gas token to interact on that network. Yeah. If you're doing that, what else is, let's really talk about it. What else is making money? Let's really talk about it. I don't know. And my bad, we didn't go with Jason because Jason has an amazing background.
And so
we just talking to you guys because especially you, like you high level, and we have conversations just about life stuff, and it's like you get it. And I want people, especially your audience, to understand like how you're thinking. Memes are great, make money, but get in and get the hell on off, man. You're not going. You go get lucky. If you're not the first person in and he's at a minute market cap, understand like it's hard, right? Because if you don't know who these people are, what are their intentions? Like somebody who has never made a lot of money before and they see this money in their face and they can take it, they gonna take that shit. I would.
Yes.
Real. It takes a real solid person to be like, no, I care about other people. I don't want to harm people. But as you can see, every day is a new project. Go look on all the chains that are out there, every network.
Most of the time, it's the same dev launching 20 different projects. They don't even know it. Or the same scammer has launched PP, poo poo, doo doo, the bullshit, Inu, all that shit, man. Like it's the same person. Sometimes it's the same person launching the shit on multiple blockchains because they can write the contracts.
Yeah. And you know what? They don't even write the code. They just regurgitate the stuff. I mean,
or copy. You know what I mean?
Copy and paste, right? And I was just telling my team, like, guys, like, it's so much stuff that we can embed in smart contracts. These developers are trash. Let's be real. They're not high-level developers. They don't know what they're doing. Because you can have, I was talking to one of my guys, shout out to Ross. He know who he is, right? We was messing around with some stuff. And look, I could be on ChatGPT, could educate a lot of you people, but go do some additional research and learn about hard hat, different things, how to launch and deploy if you want to learn code. That way you can be your self-audit. You don't have to go to a certain, because certain sucks. All these audit firms stuff. They don't really do line by line code audit reviews. I was an auditor before. We use templates and we look at certain things within the scope of that, right? But don't go based off that, because how many projects have had audits in rug? You know what I'm saying? Really look at it. And like I said, I want to see a team. I want to see their background. I don't take any project serious. I don't even take people in crypto serious, because some of the people I thought were cool turn out to be the most, oh my God. Anyway.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just want to go to Nova Scotia and punch somebody in the face, and I'm gonna catch that's too
crazy.
So
hey,
you know
look, yeah, he owed me too. Just the FYI, I ain't gonna. I may throw that out there later, but I ain't gonna.
Dang.
We'll get to that later. But hey, man, look, Jason,
that's crazy,
man. How did you get into Web3?
So how I got into Web3 was at the end of 2020, I started started looking at new investments. I started really thinking about, all right, let's think outside the box. I want to start investing in something different, something new. So I started doing some research, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I came across this company called Vivi. They're a digital collectibles company, and so this actually pains me a little bit. So I actually have an old Coinbase account from I don't even know when. It was way back. And at the time, they only had 3 tokens in there. One was Bitcoin, one was Ethereum, and one was Litecoin. That's it. They only had 3. And man, I I did like $20 in there or something like that. And I just didn't remember it at all. And then 2020 comes and and then I actually had a decent amount of crypto in there because it just sat in there forever. But I had done nothing with crypto. Anyway, so I started researching this digital collectibles company, and I started researching this OMI token, and I was like, damn. And I thought, digital collectibles, that's interesting because it's kind of up my alley, but I didn't quite wrap my arm around it at that point. I wasn't really thinking gamification, buying and selling, et cetera, et cetera. But I was thinking that the crypto that underpinned, so that's it's called OMI, it's a token called OMI, and I thought, man, that has some legs. And so, little to my behest, that was like the hardest token that you could ever buy in crypto. Hardest token. It took me, no joke. My wife was like, it took you 3 days to figure out. I was so frustrated. It took me 3 days to figure out how to buy it. You had to do all this crazy stuff. Anybody who bought OMI back in 2020 and early 2021 knows what I'm talking about, because we all know the pain of buying back at that time. And so I actually bought a bag of OMI, and then I just started researching all these cryptos and all this other stuff, and I was like, man, this is the wave of the future. And then I went PhD level on this stuff, and I get overly obsessed. I was the stories that you hear about when people that get into crypto that get hooked and they spend like 12 hours a day on crypto. They go work, and then lunch is crypto, and then I did the same thing, man. I was reading 2, 3, 4 in the morning, looking at every video, looking at everything about every crypto thing. Then I started getting into Web3. Then before AI started, because one of the companies I actually worked for back in 2013, we were doing AI back then. It was called machine learning, and it was a different type of a technology. So I had already had this exposure to this kind of tech. So then I started getting hooked in all of this stuff. And just, completely changed my outlook on anything. And so my belief system is that I'm going all in on this, all in. And so I equate this to a couple things. I was too young to get in back in the I guess maybe the mid 90s, back when the internet started cranking up. I was too young. I was, too young for that.
Yeah,
that's the last time that we've had an industry that has massive game-changing potential right now. The time before that was the Industrial Revolution. So you have to think, like, we have not had, like, how big. I'm sorry. You can call me a moon boy. You can call me anything you want to. It doesn't matter. You cannot. What we're going through right now with Web3 and AR and AI and everything that wraps around this, you can only equate that to two things: pre-internet and right after the internet, and Industrial Revolution. And then you can go back, I don't know, before that, but there's not a whole lot of things that have these massive catalysts, and this is one of those massive catalysts. So that's how I got into the space, and I'm here for. I think that everything is going to be on chain. Every piece of data is going to be on chain. The technology is going to evolve. We're going to be all communicating through, digital overlay on augmented reality soon enough. Everything we're talking about: healthcare, wellness, finances, you name it, everything is going to be on chain. I feel like everything's going to AI, and everything is going to be stored on chain.
Absolutely. And the health industry is already there. They are starting to put people's all their charts, all their personal data on. It's going towards to NFTs. It's like an NFT style. I don't know if it's exactly called an NFT, but it's going along those lines to store, your information. That way, you can take it from doctor to doctor or whoever, and they can read your entire chart. They ain't got to reach out to this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? There's other people that I've heard they're going to start doing death certificate NFTs, marriage certificate, any type of certificate, things like that. You know what I mean? And it just it blows my mind that some people, that the ideas behind these startup, these memes, and they want to continue doing like old shit instead of thinking towards the future, when they're like, oh yeah, well, I want to start an NFT or crypto company, this, we're going to do this, this is, yay, we're going to moon. This is so much bigger than that. You know what I mean? This technology it has so many real world applications, and there's too many people that are just so close-minded about it, especially people that aren't even in, they're like, oh, well, crypto's a scam. They're listening to who Pelosi, and well, no, it's they human trafficking. That's what crypto's for, and drug dealers, shit. It blows my mind how people are still listening to that shit and not taking the time to really understand. Like you guys, you took time when you found out about it, you took the time to do some research on what this tech is, and then expand it from there, man. And people don't want to do that.
You just hit a major point. You have to look at NFTs as a technology, because people, when you say NFT, they think of like punks and apes, and they only think of it as a PFP or a picture, and that's their concept of an NFT. An NFT is nothing but taking data and assigning a hash to it, tokenizing it, and putting it on chain. That's it. You can do that for literally, and anything can and will become an NFT. If it's a piece of data that's on chain, and I know you get all these people that are like, oh, if it's layer 0, it's true NFT. If it's a layer 1, layer 2, it doesn't matter. Like if it's a piece of data that's on any blockchain, that's what the definition is: non-fungible token. It just is a piece of data that's non-fungible. And so that's literally anything and everything, like you touched on: birth certificates, death certificates, college degrees, high school educations, real estate license. The funny thing is, some of the biggest builders on the planet are not on social media and Twitter, and they are building some crazy things, and building up some crazy Web3 companies, and are essentially taking traditional organizations and moving them into Web3 silently, as we all talk about, what is an NFT and what isn't an NFT. So it's pretty wild.
Like I fully understand as far as NFTs. I didn't really grasp, because I was never an NFT guy, and I didn't take the time to even look at, of course I see, the floating around, just, everybody's got their own art, that's why I kept thinking, oh, it's just art. But when I heard Disney when they partnered with Polygon, right, or Polygon Studios, when they partnered with Polygon, I was like, wait a minute, all right, because who owns Disney, and then who owns them, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wait a minute, all right. So then I started connecting dots elsewhere, and these, like you said, these major companies have their hand fully into the Web3 tech. They're not announcing it just yet, you know what I'm saying? But they're getting all their ducks in a row right now. These ETFs. That's all. This is all following some processes to go full blown. We're digital. The bricks. I mean, I'm just.
And here's a good example. If you ask a traditional, PFP individual if this is or isn't an NFT, they're going to be like, what are you even talking about? So for example, when when there's an incident report that gets written on chain, let's just say there's a crisis situation, there's an incident that gets reported and then written on chain, that is an NFT. That instance is an NFT. Now, nobody is going to say, hey, do you have that NFT incident report? No, they're just going to say, I need the incident report. Yeah. And it's going to be a hash that has all that information data. That's an NFT. That's a non-fungible token, because that's how you write data on chain through that technology. And so people are not going to think that over time, somebody's not going to come to you in 5 years and say, hey, can you send my NFT over to my doctor so that they can diagnose me? They're not going to say that. They're going to say, hey, can you send over my medical record? And actually, they're not even going to do that. They're just going to put their glasses on. They're going to look at it. But it's written on chain, the same concept as what you perceive as what an NFT is now. It's just data on chain. That's it. Yeah. And so in the future, that it's just it is the way it is. And an example is when you get on Instagram, nobody argues back and forth, or do they know that Instagram is coded on Python? And nobody argues that. You ask, hey, do you know how Instagram is coded? No, they don't. They just turn it on. They want to see their pictures and know that it works. They don't argue back and forth that that's true code or true Python or not Python or whatever. So that's why I don't ever get into those semantics, because that's why you got guys like, that's why I always say team is important. Yes. Because you've got people that have been in the space, not even in the space, just in the business world for a long time. We're thinking like 2-3 years in advance. And Omar and I, we're representing SkyPath today and now, but we have so many people on the team that has so much experience across the board. And that's why I feel like it's very important to look at projects that have a technology that will be a complete game changer. And then do they have the team that can take this thing and scale it globally? That's the other piece of it. Can you scale this thing globally? Because the total addressable market cap in the space that we play in is in the trillions of dollars. And so I know people get excited about, like, if a token gets to 10 million market cap and all that stuff, but we have a company where the total addressable market is in the trillions. And oh, by the way, there are not very many options right now. So, like, what are your options? Wasn't there an incident yesterday, a school shooting yesterday? There was a couple shooting incidents yesterday. Somebody had open fired, somewhere else. There was like multiple incidents. And you think, like, what is the government installing now to help alleviate and prevent those situations? And then you think, like, who can help with that? Well, SkyPath is going to and will. And we also have the folks on the team that can get this in front of everybody, and because we have some members on our team that are at the highest levels, or were at the highest levels of government. And so when you really start, like, thinking and saying, hey, where can this thing go? And if you don't even have to put one, just get in the ballpark. If you say 1 + 1 = 4, that's close enough for us. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to know that 1 + 1 = 2. You can say 3 or 0.5 or 4. You're going to be close, where you're going to hit some big numbers if you really think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, while we're talking about Sky, let's get a little background on Sky, man. How did the idea behind what SkyPath is, how did that come to fruition?
So actually, previous software engineer, his name was Quinn. He was an employee of SkyPath, and he kind of introduced Dave to blockchain technology, right? And from that point on, David started to have big, massive events in Rhode Island, like huge events. Like, some of the top companies actually came to Rhode Island because they wanted it to be a crypto hub, kind of like what Wyoming is now. Yeah. And certain things didn't come to fruition because it was too early for Rhode Island. Didn't quite understand it, like most people that we talked to, like, what the hell is blockchain? This Black Silk Road, is buying drugs and all this crazy stuff, right? They didn't get it, right? So I ended up meeting Quinn, and he introduced me to Dave. And I kind of helped him with some things, as far as, like, introducing them to real developers and teaching them certain things that you can and can't do. And from that point, I'm like, look, David, let's build this platform. Let me talk to Derek. Let me bring on a team of people that help us with the adoption on the grand scale, like Jason. But we can pretty much have all this data on chain. And that way, it's live, it's interactive, it's cheaper to have it on chain than go put on the server and have, a server room, or using AWS, any cloud-based stuff, right? Because the way we're going to scale up, it's just from a cost perspective, right? And that's why we looked at subnets, and people don't know, like Cardano and all these other blockchains, Polkadot, they already have subnets too. But see, the learning curve is it's crazy in this space, right? Because most people,
massive.
They don't understand this stuff. They get intimate with one chain. That's what and we'll talk about some other projects like block pools. That's why we want to go to each chain, to get people to understand different dexes, how to add LP to different, dexes and how to swap on them and all that stuff too. But ultimately, we was like, yo, blockchain is going to be the future. And if people don't know about Dave Paolo and his background, his son, and all that stuff, I advise you to go look into that stuff because we got a lot of connections, real world, that nobody can compete with. But he understood this because he started an internet company in the early 90s. This guy was a multi-millionaire in his mid-20s in the 90s, right? So he built up companies. He knows what to do, Mad Max. He knows all these people in real life. And that's the funny thing about it. You don't never see us name dropping or, building up fake hype or any of that stuff. But these are people we really know. If some of the meetings that me and Jason I've been in and the communications, we would be at $1 billion market cap just based off that, letting off information, right? But ultimately, to get back to it, I kind of introduced Dave to the what we could really utilize the blockchain for. And once Dave is like Jason, once he started to clicking in his mind, he's like, oh, this is like the damn internet. We can put a like, oh man, this is game on. And from that point on, we started to, reach out to people in, the layer 0, layer 1, layer 2s, get people to understand what we're building. And I also want to say too, guys, before we get off tangent, that our platform is just not for like shootings. We could use it for anything, from a communication tool. We could track gases if somebody's in a minefield. We could hook drones to it to survey wide areas. If somebody's in the stadium, we can pinpoint exactly where that person is and bring them targeted marketing. It's all inclusive because we can add anything that get hooked into it from an API to our platform. And that's what separates us. So fire drills, communications, we can put our NFTs to do one-day access. So instance, one of our partners, Ripples, they have a partnership with the NFL, right? And they have a lot of contractors, right? We could populate one-day NFT passes for them to get access to that arena for that one day only and expire. And we can close off certain areas of that arena they don't have access to. We track all that, and that's on chain. Dude, it's so much stuff that we do that people don't quite understand. And I try to get them to understand, guys, even if we have all this stuff, we have utilities built, real world utilities that increase in the intrinsic value of our token, because you can pay for our technology and that. We want to go after all these clients, and I'm not saying it, but we have like a CVS or Walgreens, somewhere like that. We want to work with them and help them with their bottom line by having incentive programs or loyalty programs by paying the Sky token, because they don't have to hold the token. It's going to automatically swap in the back end to the stable coin anyway, So I want people to understand, like, guys, start thinking at a higher level. Stop thinking intermediate. Think long term. If you got these people who have been super successful, have built things in a high level before, what makes you think they're not going to succeed and they don't have the connections to get it done based on somebody who you don't know, who poopy face 123 on Twitter, that bought 100,000 bots, who don't have no real world experience? You think this guy could go into a damn meeting with the head of some of the top DoD contracted companies in the world, or the people that had the highest level of the DOJ? You think they can have these conversations? Hell no. So think they're gonna take you to the promised land?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
That's like listening to people that's never made money in crypto.
Exactly.
And they're teaching you how to make money in crypto. It's like, what? Wait a minute. No. Come on, man.
Off that though, it's so crazy because a lot of people got lucky, and I'm glad they made their money, but they can't charge. They got lucky. You can't sit. We could launch a token tomorrow, right? And we could get all the influencers and all that stuff, and we could not go anywhere. And some random coin that just some bullshit go 100x, 1000x, get to $1 billion market cap, and when nobody know, right? And those people like, yeah, man, I called this. No, the hell you didn't. It was luck. It has no intrinsic value. It's love. Let's keep it 100, right? But see, I want people to stop listening to these people, because for one, social media is not a real world. People perpetrate. People will mislead you. People want clout. I hate when people post, oh, I got $300,000 in my wallet. What means I to buy? People come. It irks me. Why?
Oh,
why you believe in this shit? Oh, buy this token. Yeah, so you can be as extra liquidity. Stop. People really think real world with this. Yeah. I'm animated because I love this. It's my passion, right? And I hate to see people get harmed or listen to people who they don't know or believe in people they will never hang out with. If I can't bring you to your house and you don't have my personal number, I'm not listening to you. That's all a facade. And I tell people, really ask yourself, what are they trying to gain out this by putting this online? To get you to come in so they can exit on you, right? And if they don't have a mechanism in their project like us with LP function and age the LP, so you can essentially would never be rubbed unless we did some nefarious shit or we got hacked. You don't see that stuff. Like, dude, it's so much stuff that I could say and see, but I don't want to harm anybody. I just want to educate people, right? Because at the end of the day, all adults, you make your own financial decision. But please, guys, like, really understand some of this shit is bogus, right? They don't own the IP. You don't know who these people are. They don't have an LLC. They don't. Anyway, that's it's so much, dude. Like, it perturbs.
Yeah.
But I understand that it's a gap, and that's why we're doing what we're doing to educate people and teach them the right way. It might be slower growth, but look at the potential upside versus short-term upside. That's all and pumped, and man, there's so much stuff I could teach people.
Big time. One of the things too that Omar always says, if you really listen to Omar, he actually gives away a lot of alpha. You know, and I recognize it because we actually talk about all this stuff behind the scenes. But Omar gives away a lot of alpha without you know, giving away alpha. And one of the things that he always talks about is you know, SkyPath Security is a traditional organization that gets traditional revenue stream, so Web 2 revenue. And one thing that Omar always says is, you know, we have a real company, we have a Web 2 company that will feed our Web 3 ecosystem. And so I'm just going to leave that there. But Omar says that over and over. And so you name, you know, and there are other Web3 companies that have Web2 revenue that can feed the ecosystem, but not a whole lot. And so when you look at all these different projects out there, how many, you see the reverse. You see a lot of crypto tokens and NFTs that get built up, and then they're like, okay, the hype's over. Now what do we do now what do we do? Now let's build this. Let's start selling T-shirts, or let's start, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, we have a Web 2 company that has a total addressable market in the trillions, and it'll help feed the Web 3 ecosystem. So I think that's super important to always keep in mind, you know, when you look at like our project. I do want to back up a little bit though, for your audience who's never heard of us or doesn't know what we do. I just want to give a 2-second, you know, 10,000 foot view of SkyPath, so that they're like, what the hell do these guys do? So the technology is essentially, I'm going to make it real simple, because the one thing about the technology that I love is it's a incredibly complex technology, incredibly complex. But for the end user, it's going to be incredibly simple to use. And we want that because we want everybody to be using it all day, every day, all the time. So what it is, essentially, it's a ConOps platform, which just means a lot of data is coming in so that people can evaluate on the fly and make decisions based on live data. It's used a lot in military, defense, you know, war, combat, etc. But it's a spatial awareness technology that can essentially pinpoint down to about 6 inches of accuracy. And the reason why I say that like that is because, you know, one of the forward things that we do is it's a spatial awareness ConOps platform that aids first responders in any and all crisis and hazard situations. So for instance, if a responder was responding to a medical incident or a school shooting or a heart attack or a fire, all that data is being fed to them live stream, and they're either utilizing a tablet or a phone, or in the future maybe some type of AR goggles, etc. And they're getting fed, just like you playing Fortnite or Call of Duty. You see everything. You've got all the information, so you can make your decisions quickly. So that's what's being fed to the first responders. It allows them to mitigate risks, save lives much faster. So a quick example would be, imagine if somebody had alerted that there's a heart attack victim in this building complex that had 3,000 rooms. A medical responder that goes there is not going to know where room 2,443 is. Yes. But on our platform, on our technology, think video game here. There's going to be like the fastest route possible. It's an overlay of the buildings. It's an overlay of the area. There's going to be exits and entry markers and all that stuff. They're going to be able to essentially look at their tablet or their phone or whatever device they're using and get to that victim as fast as humanly possible. and they don't have to think about it. They just have to get there. Now, there's also communications mechanisms as well. So when they're on the way, they'll be able to live stream. They'll be able to tap in and live stream with the people that are there aiding this individual prior to the first responders. And maybe they can see the condition. They can, provide live and active help to before the responders get there. So it's something that is needed. It's something that it's easy to get behind this technology. I mean, it's saving our friends, our family, our loved ones, our children, our grandparents. It's helping save those lives. But when you simplify it, it's a spatial technology. And Omar touched on this a little bit earlier. So what does that mean? It just means that we can pinpoint things down to an accuracy of under 6 square inches. So Omar touched on in a stadium. Imagine if somebody was sitting in, some seat, and it doesn't matter because the spatial technology is not on an X and a Y axis. It's literally everywhere. It's everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's high, middle, low, 1,000 feet in the air, underground, whatever. So imagine like if you ordered a hot dog at a stadium and you didn't have to leave your seat to go get it. Why? Because somebody knew exactly where you were and they could deliver the hot dog. Or in a year or two from now, they could send that hot dog on a drone, and that drone can come over and just deliver it right to you. And it knows exactly where to go. There's one that I really love this example. It's one that David talks about all the time, but I think a lot of people can really get behind this. We have a client that we're working on onboarding, and they have a lot of visually impaired and blind employees. It's a gigantic global warehouse retailer, and these warehouses are absolutely massive. They're just massive, and so they have a large number of blind and visually impaired employees. And the way that these employees get around now is through friction tape. It's literally what it sounds like. It's literally tape that's friction where they can feel like Braille where they're going.
Wow.
On our technology, you don't need that anymore. They wear these little earbuds, and these earpieces tell you exactly when and where to go. So the challenge with the friction tape is if the tape gets taken up by the cleaners, or if there's an issue with it, or they get moved, it renders those employees, that's a challenge. It's also an insurance risk as well, and it's a hazard. But with our technology, it's kind of like a Waze finder for them. They're able to navigate. But think about this: what happens if a giant pallet of glass bottles falls and breaks? That friction tape is not going to prevent that visually impaired person from hurting themselves because they don't know. With our technology, it does let them know. So they're able to that'll get written into the technology and live streamed to them, and they'll say, hey, there's a pallet on floor 5AB, whatever, and there's a bunch of broken glass, and it'll help navigate that visually impaired person away from the danger. The other thing that a lot of people don't know is that there's a lot of high-speed robots that are in those facilities now, and they're zooming around everywhere, and it could be robots, it could be forklifts, it could be any of that stuff. And so using the spatial technology, those are all tracked, and so these employees will then instantly know where these high-speed robots are at any given second, so that they can navigate safely away from those. So there's many use cases from both a commercial and retail perspective. So there's literally no client on this planet that we don't have a use case for that could utilize the technology, whether you're a Target or a medical center or a CVS or Walmart or whatever. There is a use case for this technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, so this because a lot of that information might have gone over a lot of people's heads, and I'm going to put this very, very, very simply in two different scenarios, right? So for one, as far as the spatial tech, if you've ever watched Total Recall, go watch the beginning of Total Recall, and you don't even got to watch the whole movie. Just watch the beginning. So they are chasing down Wade. Well, I think his name is Wade Wilson, right, or something like that. Well, anyway,
Quaid.
Quaid. That's what it was. Yes. So they're chasing him down, right? They have this device in their
I know
hand.
where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah. They have this device in their hand because he's got a tracking device shoved up his nose, right? He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it. Just mystery blown. He does not know this device is up his nose.
We aren't putting anything in your nose though, so don't worry.
But they're tracking him. So not only do they have left, right, front, behind, they don't have direction. They have elevation of where he is. And this is very, very important, especially. So this goes to my second one is, when you're in an emergency, when you're in any, especially in an emergency, like say, this goes beyond emergencies, but in emergencies, when you are in a high adrenaline situation, say a fire, shooting or something like that. If like being ex-military, I understand that, the situation is never from 1 minute to the next. It's not going to be the same. One person that may need some help in one room may panic, run to another room, or, run down the hallway, maybe run to another floor or something like that. And then, when a lot of these first responders come in, they don't know where to go. They've never been in this building before. They don't know the ins and out of it. They don't know that there's a room inside of a room inside of a room. You know what I'm saying? So this application is the tech behind this is so freaking amazing that you have to have that kind of higher, especially in the Web3 space, man. Hey, I'm telling y'all educate yourselves when it comes to, especially if you're investing. If you're a straight DGen, then I ain't talking to you. But if you are,
We'll
are
take
looking,
the DGens.
but if you're looking for like say if you're an investor, like I used to be straight DGen, now I'm investor. Where I'm looking at okay, what is this going to do for me in the long run? What is my ROI going to be for the long term? And that's why I'm looking. And then you're like, oh well, tech. What tech applications? Okay, it's not just, oh well, I made a copy of Chat GPT and we're going to the moon. No, it ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. You know what I'm saying? What is this tech that people are coming out with, or they say that is going to be so freaking amazing, that has that potential to not just serve the crypto community, but just serve everybody? You know what I'm saying?
I think you and Omar actually touched on something too that, and I think you both understand it. The other piece of that is this. Omar talks about this all the time, mitigates insurance risks. We're going to be saving so much money for companies from an insurance perspective. It's going to blow people's mind. But the other piece of it is, this is what they don't understand. This is where blockchain comes in. And it's super important. And you touched on it because you're ex-military. When you're going into a firefight, if you're legitimately going into a firefight, aka school shooting, etc., you know how many did you count your steps that you went north, and then steps that you went east, and then south,
well,
and then how many
I was an engineer, so I was
I hear you, but do you see where I'm going? When you're
I do that anyway on the regular, like even just if I'm walking from, I don't know, I thought it was just me being ADHD or whatever, but I count my steps everywhere I go.
So most people in a crisis situation are just going after and trying to save somebody's lives, right? But with our technology, it's going to tell and create a report that says this individual went 100 feet this way, 50 feet that way, shot 3 times, went up elevation 200 feet, all that data is going to get written on chain. Why that's important is because later, when you're coming back and you're testifying what happened, you don't have to remember those things, because all of that was caught live through the technology and written into a report that's immutable on chain. But also why that's important, and this is another thing to think about, is imagine our technology went through 200 school shootings. So 5 years from now, it went through 200 school shootings. Now the data is going to be irrefutable and immutable, and they can do one of two things. They can say, wow, look at how many more lives have been saved, how much time we've saved in each incident, because that's all going to be reportable and recordable and readable. But the other piece of it is, let's just say there are things that could be done better. then they're going to be able to look at all this reporting and all this data and go, without a doubt, here are the things that we could have done better in this situation. Whereas if you go back to some of the past shootings that we've had, you know, in the past few years, what can you do better? Well, you sat outside the classroom door for 45 minutes. You don't really know what you could do better because that data is not there. It's not written on chain. We don't know how many steps were here. We don't, you know, with our technology, they go room by room and boom, light it up green. If it's a safe room, boom, it gets lit up green. They already know where the incidents are because the room's red. It's lit up red. They go straight there. They deal with whatever the issue is there. I mean, that, when I say it's, you know, it's a live con ops platform, it's feeding information live. Go ahead, Omar.
We gotta let them know too. Like once the alert is made, and like I said, it could be any event, medical. We actually, if they have CCTVs and we tapped into that, we could see it. Law enforcement would see that before they even get on scene. So they're already formulating a strategy before they get there to mitigate the risk too. So it's super cool. And I tell people this for anything. Armed robberies in retail stores or shopping centers, car thefts on the car lot. Like it's endless possibilities, guys. And what we're trying to incorporate the token too is we could potentially have our own subnet network that's going to require clients to utilize our token as a gas token too. See, but nobody can compete with that because we already have a clientele. We have clients under, you know, contracts already, right? And I keep telling people, Derek Bork, research him. People, he helped write some of the business law in the state of Florida. We have lobbyists in Florida. I've talked to the senator out in California. I talked to the guys in Connecticut. We talked to the people in Massachusetts. This is all facts. I talked to Jeb Bush down in damn Texas. This is a fact, right? So I tell people, guys, we understand what we're doing. It just takes a little longer when you're dealing with the people that we and you're dealing with technology at this level. We can't build some fly-by-night shit overnight and think it's going to be $1 billion company. We didn't build, let's be honest, we didn't build this to just, you know, waste a year or two of our time for nothing, not to see it come to fruition. We had bumps in the road, ups and downs, but we still here. And I tell people, look at all these projects that, like I said, fly by night, here one day, gone the next. We still here. So what can you potentially say about us? Nothing. We ain't rugging people. We building real tech. If you want to have a conversation with me, I could come fly you to Virginia and sit in my office and I can really show you some shit that will blow your mind. And I can tell it to anybody. The scam people in Nova Scotia, if they just would write the good people, if they were good people and realized that we got attorneys in fucking Toronto, this is crazy. But if they just want to take a come and see what we're building, it would change the whole narrative. But like I told Jason, we'll go after great people. We want to bring as many. We have 10 great people that could go out there and really believe in it and push us to the masses because everybody starts small and grows together, right? So that's why I love coming on here. You know, and I'm sorry it took us so long, man. But we know you super busy. Right. The big dog now. You the big dog, man. We keep growing. We like, damn.
Hey, I ain't even got off the porch yet, man. I'm still trying to break that leash.
You know, it's funny. We have two, you know, for me, I experienced two different conversations and I'm totally fine with having both because I have both in me. You talk to the degen crypto buyers and man, they just want to know when Moon, when Catalyst, when Coinbase,
when CMC, when Lambo,
when this, when that. And so they want to see like that 5X, that 2X, that 10X. And it's funny when I talk to, man, we just had some big conversations with some big dogs, some big people, some people that say, hey, some people that if they tweet out one tweet, it's game over. Yeah. And the response to me and to Omar, the response is, Jason, this is an absolute no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. That's the response. And they're like, you know, you get into these positions where, you know, they are asking you, how do we get on your team? What do we got to do to be an investor? What do we got to do to support you guys from a marketing advertising perspective? We're talking about big names. And so, you know, when those happen, it's going to change the narrative for us very, very fast. And one of the things I always tell Omar in the background is that, you know, I love going on these podcasts and these spaces and streams and all that, because like, I feel like it's for you and what I was telling Omar before the show, like you're giving us a platform to talk, and I don't know how many people we're talking to. It could be 5, it could be 10, 20, not, it could be a small amount, but I always tell Omar, like, right now, we're an unknown. We're small, $600,000 market cap, etc. But pretty soon we're going to be real big, really, really big. Everybody's going to know who SkyPath is. Everybody's going to know what Sky Token is all about. And the shoe is going to be, I mean, I hate to say shoe's going to be on the other foot, but it's going to be different. And I told Omar that anybody that has supported us in the smallest amount, we support back 1,000 times. So like, like if Omar and I ever get too huge and like we got 50,000 people trying to get us on their YouTube channel, all you got to do is just send me a text and say, hey, get on my YouTube channel, and I'll be there in 2 seconds. And that's the way that I look at things. Like, we see in the communities who supports us and who's always who's for us and who really roots us on. And like, look, do I want to see the token price rip roar and go through the moon and all that? Man, I'm a human being, of course. Like that, like I shouldn't even have to say that. You shouldn't even have to ask me like when moon, when Lambo, when this. We're humans. We all want to see, price go up. That's it. Of course. But like, at the same, but we're also like, I also, one of the things that, sort of eat on me a little bit, and I'm going to say it in a real nice term, is that we're going to be putting a technology everywhere that is going to be helping save people's lives. I'm sorry, but there's no amount of mooning. If your kid is dead because of a tragic incident, I don't think you're going to give 2 shits about if SkyPath moons or not. You're going to be grieving the rest of your life. 100. So like, I'm saying it just like that. That's important to me. That's what's really important, is that I don't, the mooning of the token is going to be the byproduct of everything that we're doing. That's going to happen, and it's going to be the byproduct. The product that we're bringing is a product that's going to be saving people's lives. And so like that's the if we were doing like a gaming token or like any other thing, I'd be totally fine with if the questions were when Coinbase, when Moon, when Lambo. I'd be like, yeah, cool. But like, man, this is different. This is something that's, is everybody is frustrated by all of the nefarious events that happen in the, in the schools and all the issues. And anybody who's been any kind of sort of part of any of that, that's going to be the main focus. And that's why.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, on the flip side of that, besides just saving lives, the real world application for this, I mean, let's just throw another company out. Just something that's not even like first responder related. We'll just throw how many of us have seen the Domino's commercials where they got a little man flying? It's like, here's your pizza on top of a fucking mountain somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's like, dude, just imagine like this tech actually being applied to that, to a drone, say drones. Dude. And getting a pizza delivered in the middle of the park, you're just like, oh man, I'm hungry. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And the next thing you know, you got it in your lap. It's like
so crazy. Yeah. Have satellite internet, right? Connectivity anywhere in the world. I want people to think about that, because we have had conversations about certain integration, and this is not saying this is going to happen, but we want to be accessed all over the world. We know some guys are like really remote parts of Wyoming and in Pacific Northwest, parts of that don't have internet service, so it'd be a little harder for them to have connectivity, but we have for that as well. We know who Rapid SOS is for the guys who don't, who that is. That's live data to the 911 dispatcher. We already have a partnership with them. We know who AT&T FirstNet is. We already talked to them too. People don't know that there are other solutions that are out there too that we can't name just yet, because it all depends on these partnerships that we are working on currently with some of the biggest people in the damn crypto space, right? So all this stuff has been brought to our attention on numerous occasions. And I tell people this: don't phase somebody because it might took them a little longer to get to the finish line than everybody else. But as long as we finish and we become better and faster each and every race, you need to pay attention, right? Yeah. The story hasn't changed. We haven't went to jail. We haven't did anything that would make people like, damn, aha, we got you. No, we still here. And I'm going to tell you this, like, I'm still love everybody, respect everybody, but you got to give us our flowers, man, because if we're telling you we have all this stuff, believe in us. If you can believe somebody who you don't know, who won't show their face, I got to be anonymous, and man, get the hell out of here with that bullshit.
Yeah.
A second. That's like me walking up to you on the street and be like, yo, Vince, dude, I'm about to give me a $200 and I'm a fucking 100x that shit. You can be like, oh my, who are you? Why would I? So why are we doing that in this space, people? We preach DYOR and all this stuff, and you can't even read a damn smart contract. It's amazed me how to tell people to go look at Ava scan, Snow Trace, Ether scan, FTM scan, the RB scan. Most people don't know what they are, but it's the blockchain explorer for all these native tokens. So these blockchains, right? They don't even know how to read the code in the contract to see if it's a tax on it, if it's a blacklist. And I'm like, guys, y'all been trading fucking meme coins for 3 years, and you don't know how to read a contract and see what the tax is, or what functions they have in there. Like, get real, get off my line. That's why I don't do many AMA and stuff, because it's like the education is lacking. And I'm no smarter than anybody else, but I love this. So I really look into this stuff and want to become better at this. That way I can educate around me, right? But it's so much garbage in, garbage out in this space on Twitter and this, and you gotta renounce your contract and you gotta do this. No, people. And I test people too. I'm gonna call your names out real soon too. I know we going a little long, but it's a lot of stuff.
Hey, it's all good.
Auditor in real life. I think people forget that shit too. I audit stuff. I talk to some of the highest people, some of the highest institutions, biggest banks, all that stuff. CEOs, nobody bother me. You can talk all the stuff you want, but I know my stuff. I keep paper trails too. I can read the blockchain too. I know the government has software that can track everything that you do on chain. You can use Tornado Cash. It don't matter. You got to off-ramp that shit somewhere.
Off-ramp somewhere.
Off-ramp, people, pay attention. You got to off-ramp. Damn, when I was at Uphold, I seen all the fraud. I'm just like, man, look at, I'm going to tell y'all this too. When you go to your CEX, right, and you're doing your little KYC verification, and they record, you got to do your camera. Man, I worked at Uphold. I'm sorry, Uphold, if you're listening. It is what it is. I don't work there anymore. We will record you. We will see everything that you're doing, listen to you in the background on your camera, because you consent to that stuff. We would check for abuse or people that's past fraud and coaching people to set up accounts. All this stuff I try to tell people. And people also, too, I damn helped build one of the damn Coinbase's card programs. I have connections there, too. But you don't see me like, oh, like Terrarium back in the day. We're going to get listed on BNB. No, it don't work like that, man. You got a beneficial owner and all this. They have KYC programs in place for real because they're real public companies, right?
Yep.
It's levels to this shit. You know, but anyway, I've been talking too much, man. I just when I talk to great people, man,
it's all good, man.
Well, I want to throw something else out there, and just whoever's watching and you and everybody else, I will tell you this, like, you know, a lot of people do ask, like, when's Catalyst happening? That, you know, whatever the catalyst. And I'll tell you at this point now, we have a really big meeting on Thursday. It's not a first meeting. It's like like a third or fourth meeting. It's pretty much to kind of hopefully finalize some stuff. But why I'm telling you this is this: at this point, like I don't know when catalysts are going to be, and the reason that I'm telling you this is because people who are real movers on this planet now are already looking at SkyPath, researching, looking at our charts, has asked us where we traded, et cetera, et cetera. And why I'm telling you this is because I don't know. I literally could wake up tomorrow and the chart be completely different. And it's and not saying that it's going to, and not saying that who I know it is or anything like that. What I'm telling you is that we've had many advanced enough conversations, and we're getting ready to wrap enough things up. And these people are not stupid people. These people are, you know, they have deep pockets. They also understand the crypto space. So they're not going to sit there and wait till it 2 or 3Xs. They're going to, you know, generally speaking, these folks are like, okay, I'm getting in and I'm going to, you know, then start cranking this thing out. So I'm just letting everybody know that, like, catalysts are kind of sort of behind us. I know, like, chart wise, there's not been any huge movements in the chart. But what I'm saying is that at this point now, it's kind of out of it's out of our hands, because we've already exposed quite a few, big movers to what we're doing, where we're traded, and also, and they're very interested. So
Yeah,
I'm just letting the community know, like, think about those things. Think about the team, the technology, and then what I just said.
Hey, you want to know when catalyst? The tech is the catalyst. That's the catalyst. Get all that degen bullshit out of your minds. You got to elevate. You got to elevate your sense of thinking. When it comes to, especially when you're talking about technology, you got to elevate your mind and educate yourself. And for those that keep saying when catalyst, I'm gonna say it again. The tech is the catalyst. The tech is the utility. When you tell the tech, I'm telling you what, man, I can't say it enough, man. This tech is so far beyond understanding for a lot of people. And if you do not understand this tech, if you do not understand what is going on, I'm telling you, get some education about yourself and learn what's going on. Because especially if you are in the crypto, especially if you're in the crypto and you're looking for something with utility. Everybody keeps screaming utility, but they don't want to buy a fucking token with utility that has real world utility.
Dude,
take a step back and look.
Man, let me tell you, Omar and I and David, we were in the meeting 2 weeks ago. It was maybe a second or third meeting, and the gentlemen that were in the meeting are retired combat leaders. Yep. Meaning battlefield commanders. Now, I don't know if people understand what that means. They're using the most advanced technology on the planet for the United States military on the battlefield. They were asking us questions, can it do this, can it do that? And blown away by the response that we were giving them. Like, they were like surprised, because some of this stuff that it can do, it's and some of the stuff that they need it to do is, first of all, that's crazy. What they need it to do is crazy. You'd be surprised at what people are going to be using this technology for. But I was more surprised that they were surprised at what it could do, because I know that their backgrounds are significant. So when you yell, when you're yelling into your mic, the tech it really is. It's going to be, it's going to be a very wild ride over the next couple years, but I'm excited to be part of it. I mean, I'm just riding these guys' coattails. So I'm just out there trying to tell people what it's all about, and trying to spread the gospel about it, and hopefully people get it. But it's going to be a wild ride. I'm in the meetings. I've seen it firsthand. And normally I don't get too shocked by this stuff, because I've been in tech for, 2 decades now. So like, tech doesn't kind of shock me, but when people that have been in this at this experience level get blown away, that kind of makes me, that's bullish for me.
Yeah. We talking about multi-billion-dollar companies, guys. Some even trillion-dollar companies. This is all facts, right? And it will blow your mind. Like, the people that anyway, we're talking too much. And I just want to give a shout out to a few people too. Eamon, man, hit me up, man. We got to talk, brother. Eamon, CEO Ava Labs, my guy. I just want to drop a few names. Shout out to you, Dragon Rider, my team, Guy Path, my buddy Charles, my guy Matt, my good people over there. You know who you are. Matt S over at Ava Labs. This is great people. The Phantom Community, Arbitrum, BNB, Polygon, Tron. What's up, Tron community? I know a lot of people don't know about that, so we're trying to introduce you guys to that. Optimism. Say hello. All the networks out there, Mainnet C, that most people don't know about, because they kind of just Base. What's up, Base? I'm coming for you. Jesse, what's up, Jesse? If people know who Jesse is at Base, man, Jesse, respond to my damn email. Everybody, man, all the top networks out there, even Say the Shame. I see y'all doing great things. They just like us building. It's taking a little longer, but they still got a community, and the community is what keeps things going. But like, you guys can't compare to us, man, with what we have. And the cool thing about it,
they just had some kind of exploit happen and everything.
Gotta have great developers, brother. You can't have a point in time. If your guys, one thing about this code is code, man. If you got good engineers and devs and stuff, you don't have these issues. You beta test that stuff in and out. Now, you don't need to go do certi because they just run that shit through automated process. Get people that really know what they do, and not somebody, hey, can I be a software dev? Hell no. Have you worked for Google before? Have you worked at the DOD before? Why would I want you if you ain't got no damn real world experience? Let's keep it on it, right? But this shout out to everybody that's doing great things. Like I said, all the networks out there, Polygon. Like I said, Phantom, people learn about these other blockchains, man. Some of them are super fast. TPS is, learn with time, Fidelity is. Learn about all this stuff, right? It'll blow your mind. You'll get away from some of these chains that you think are great and they're not. Shout out to Cardano, man. My guys over there, Cardano. Like I said, everybody that's doing great things in the space, all the projects out there, even the meme coins that are doing great. Guys, I wish you the best, man. Let's continue to build and bring the Web 2 people to the space. That's how you bring mass adoption, not just, circulating your token inside the same damn people. That's not bringing no money. That's why I said, think about intrinsic value. Think about how you go get mass adoption. Think how you can survive when these regulations come. And think who's really going to use this in the real world. You can't go to the Boys and Girls Club, which we have a partnership with in Providence, and teach them about some meme coin when we could tell them about Block Bulls or Skypath and teach them. That's how you bring people from the Web 2 space into Web 3.
Absolutely.
What we're doing. But people don't have the patience to understand that. I'm going to unleash the beast in a couple months, which I tell Jason, hey, go to the Boys and Girls Club and teach these kids and parents and family who use our platform how to buy safe memes and safe plays and positions and projects in DeFi. That's what we're going to do. And I'm looking at all the networks out there for a particular reason, because we will need a network to house our data. So whoever wants to come partner with us, and we do have some good partners that's coming down the chain. Ooh. So stay tuned in regards to that. We definitely want to add value, and that's what we're thinking about. It's always about integrating a token, because we know that can be used for various utilities, for form of payment, a gas token, a loyalty token, like governance token, all this stuff that people say when they throw out utility who don't even know what the hell a damn utility is, because you buy non-utility projects that don't even. Anyway, we appreciate you, my friend, and I love talking to smart, great, intelligent brothers. Especially, thank you for your service, my friend. I didn't know you was. Thank you for that. And it makes sense because you understand situational awareness and how that critical time to get to events and save lives. So we appreciate you for that. Really do. I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it, man. Well, before we go, man, hey, so all right, because this is called Behind the Bullshit. So I always ask, I got two questions that I ask everybody, and it's gonna throw you for a loop. All right. So So throughout your careers and stuff like that, there's a couple moments in time, you know what I mean? Because we already kind of went through your backgrounds and stuff like that. So, there's a couple, there's more than one. We all know there's more than one, but you can throw out any of them. There's always some positive bullshit moments, and there's always some negative bullshit moments. The positive has been like, you know what, this was some bullshit, but this has actually helped me in a sort of way. It helped me advance. It helped me to get. It was some bullshit, but you know what? It worked out, and it made me a little bit better as a professional. Then you got your other bullshit, which is negative, which is like, man, this was some straight bullshit. This shouldn't happen to anybody, type of thing. So, what would be a positive bullshit moment for you? We'll let Omar go first.
My positive bullshit moment actually was not succeeding in a timely fashion with the technology, right? And having to go to clients and go to my investors and go to my community and tell them like, hey, my business, we can throw out a name. One is a big Fortune 500 company, right? And we had everything going. We had numerous meetings, and we kind of put things out there, put pictures, and it didn't happen in the time that it was supposed to happen. It kept getting, it's going to happen this week. It's going to happen this week, and it made me realize that you're going to go through stuff that's outside of your control. And sometimes if you can't control it, continue to push, because if you're waiting for somebody else to make shit happen for you, you'll never make it, right? So it put me in the mindset that regardless of what obstacles throw my way, and if I can control it, and if I can't, it don't matter. Find what you can do to keep pushing forward and perseverance to get to where you're trying to get to. And that's what happened for me. So knowing that we had things and we were promised things and it kind of was delayed, and we put information out there and it made us look bad, and it's, people had to question our credibility, and losing faith in us, it made me realize that regardless of what you go through, don't lay down, man. Pick that shit up and continue to build. Because once you have something of value, the people will come. And all the people that didn't believe or lost faith or all that stuff, you don't worry about that. Just know if you're true to yourself and you're building something great, man, cancel all that noise, right? But that things might not go as the way you think that should go, or if certain deadlines or certain things were said to you, anything can change. So don't let that stuff bother you. Continue to push. We got one life to live, man. If you don't live that shit to your fullest, you're not going to have a great life. Forget all it. And I'm going to say too, like, even the negative stuff, bro, don't nothing bother me, because I don't let stuff, like, we could be sad, we humans, right? But at the end of the day, it don't kill you. It won't kill you. We're going to have another day to be great at what we do. But that was it for me, this understanding, like, when you're dealing with big businesses and you're the small fry and, you think you're there, you just walk through the door just to find out there's another door in front of you and you can't unlock that shit. So you got to keep pushing, man, and find the damn key. Once you get that key, you made it. And that, like, a lot of projects don't understand that, because they can't even get in the front door. They lying to people that we did this, we did that. It ain't as easy as you think. We just can't go into these billion-dollar, trillion-dollar companies like, hey, work with us. They're like, who the hell are you? Show and build and prove who you are, and have great people like Jason and David and Dirk and Antonio and the other Jason, those guys that have done this at the high level. And like I said, everything that we said is all facts. Questions we can show improve everything that we talked about, from any company you might have heard to companies you don't even know about, to all that stuff. Ultimately, to say, guys, keep pushing, man, because in the face of adversity, man, those who can't make it or don't have the mental fortitude, you won't make it in this business. Game of life. And that's it.
Absolutely. So, Jason, what would be your positive bullshit moment?
Man, I got dude, I could fill up 3 hours with all the crazy and funny stories, and most of them you would not even believe, because I was in a tech startup in the early 2000s. I'm not saying it was all like Wolf of Wall Street, but have you ever watched Wolf of Wall Street?
I love that movie. My wife was there.
Brother, you would not even believe. When I watched Wolf of Wall Street, I was like, man, the stuff you can't do anymore in a company. Oh man. But anyways, I'll give you a tame story, but one that's kind of a value proposition. So in my early career, I was selling voice over IP. And I know people are like, what the hell is voice over IP? Voice over IP is how everybody communicates now today. Nobody knows it's called voice over IP. It's voice over internet protocol. It's sending data over, it's packetizing your voice and sending it over the internet IP. And that's how you receive your voice on your cell phones and all that. Anyways, back in the day when we first started, we were partnered with Cisco, and we were providing that technology to the small to medium-sized businesses. It was back when nobody believed the technology existed. So we'd have to go in and sell it. And people would be like, man, that's a lie, man. That technology does not exist. That's not true. That's not how it works. Like, that was my whole career, trying to convince them that, hey, this works. And I kind of feel like I'm, in a situation now where we're doing such an advanced technology that I think sometimes people think it's a little bit far out there. But I remember one day I picked up the phone, and this was when I was a young sales rep. And this guy called me up and said, hey, I never heard of you guys before, but man, I'm with this company. And then I told them that I wanted to just think about it. They were trying to get me to re-sign up my contract, and I wanted to think about it. And they started just bashing your company and just going wild on how terrible of a company you are. It was fake technology. It didn't work. And he's like, I'll be honest with you, I never heard of you guys. I didn't even know you guys existed. So I looked you guys up, and I'm calling you right now. And so I ended up telling him a little bit about the company and what we did and technology. And he goes, you mind coming out here and just talking to me for a little while, and I want to see what you guys do. So, I had an opening that day. I went out there at 1 o'clock, closed the deal right then and there. Boom. So it started out some BS, and and the BS wasn't necessarily, I was the beneficiary of the BS, but like, we had such a strong value prop. It was a technology that we knew 100% worked, because one, the technology we knew, and the team, we had a significant team, but we also, like, our tech partners were massive. Cisco Systems was our major tech partner for back in the day. And And so it's a very similar situation here. Now, we can't talk about some of our partners because of NDA stuff and all that, but like, I feel like I'm in that kind of a situation now. And I tell Omar, like, this is going to be our last ride. We're done after this. Like, we know where this train is going. I mean, if you ever watch Back to the Future, where that train just all of a sudden just bolts in the sky, like, we talk about it. We know where this is going. This is legit our last. We're done after this because we know where this is going to go, and it's not going to be a 5-10 year plan. Like, you know, we'll see where I'm at in a few months. Like, no, I'll still be here, but like, you know, this is going to be big for all of us. And it's and if I'm just being totally transparent, it'll be one of those situations where, you know, I'll like what I'm doing so much that I probably will work for, you know, there could be a potential point where I just don't care. I'll just work for free because I like doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It'll be in that scenario where I don't have to work anymore. I'm done, but like, I still want to be part of it.
Like a consultant type, you know.
Not even that, man. I just, you know, like, I really feel passionate about getting this technology installed and helping people save lives. And then also, like, it's such an advanced technology. Like, you pretty much drop the mic after every meeting that you do. I feel like we're dropping the mic and walking away. You know what I mean? Like, I seriously think it's a mic drop. You know, we go into the spaces and we talk in Telegram, and, you know, then after we do this amazing spiel, like all the stuff we talk to you here about, you know, afterwards they're going to be like, "When Coinbase." That's what they'll say. But like, in the real world, like when we're going out and meeting, like when we leave, man, these people, we're having to pick up people's jaws and put them back on their, you know, we're That's dropping amazing. The mic. So it's just a funny experience. So we know where we're going. We know where this team is going. We know where the tech is going to go. We're excited to be part of it. We can't wait to start rolling out all the different news and all the different things and partnerships. And, you know, like, you know, how many meme tokens do you know are going to be on national news, you know, being reported on the national news because of, you know, this partnership or that partnership or this system or that system or whatever. So I'm just saying. And I'm also saying you never know what you're going to wake up to. So, like, you know.
Yeah, bro.
I don't want to say make sure your bags are packed, but like, Omar, the rest of the team, we don't have control over some of that anymore. Correct. Because too many people that have too big of eyeballs are already looking. So
absolutely. All right. So on the flip side, what's your guys' negative bullshit where it's like, you know what, this was some straight bullshit. This should not ever happen again.
Omar probably has a few. Omar can take up mine too.
Yeah, so mine is just, now let's be quick. Mine is like having people that you think believe in you show that they really don't, you know, and it come to light that, you know, what they say to you is not how they truly feel. I just tell people, just be 100 with me, man. I'm a cool guy. Like, I'm grown, man. I'm old, man. Like, just be real. Because when they come back to me, I have to question you as a human, and I don't want to deal with you. You're gonna feel that because I know that's not genuine. But also people that take advantage of other people, like DB. You know, I don't like people. No, I'm being real. Like, you don't
absolutely.
Or harm people for financial gain. Just do things the right way. You would be blessed, man. And that's why I tell people, like, if you're going through situations, don't lie and not just calling out him, but just anybody that might have a problem, whether it's narcotic or anything, right? Seek help, because you have great people that really liked you and will do anything to help you. Just don't take advantage of good people, because I'm a firm believer the energy that you put out, the energy that you're gonna get back, and I mean that's just part of life, right? So, and trust me, you don't want to deal with certain people, man. You know, we got some very connected people all over the world, and you know, granted, we're not like that. I'm not saying we are, but you can't do that to people, man. Like, just do things the right way, and you know, treat people how you want to be treated. And if you got issues or you need help with something, man, definitely, you know, you got people that can help you. But also, man, just be 100 with how you truly feel about somebody. Let them know. Don't go to the third party or somebody else that can't fix the problem. Go straight to the source. Like, if Jason had called me about anything, or vice versa, My guy Patrick, you know, he's my guy Ross. Me and Dave, we could talk about anything. We know at the end of the day it's all love. I'm quite sure with you, bro, we can have conversations because I know on that level you're gonna be a straight shooter. Just be a straight shooter. I ain't gotta hide about nothing. I don't lie about nothing. I tell people what it is. And I don't hooked up and took care of a lot of damn people. But I want people to pay it forward. Be honest with yourself. Like, have I done stuff for you? Then let that be known too. Don't pick and choose. Don't go your way. Then you want to paint a false narrative that, you know, push your agenda that you had to make people feel that you feel the same way. Nah, man, we don't rock like that. So those two things, man. Just be stand up, stand 10 toes down with anything you do in life. And two, don't scam people or take advantage of people, especially women or females or people who you think you can bully and intimidate. You got to see one of us in real life. So, and that's facts. So I'm just letting you know.
And Omar can zoom in on your house. I've seen the text. So I know people kind of think I'm joking, but I actually have seen it.
Dude, we had this technology, and I'm gonna let Jason go, but dude, like we were dealing with like a top military contractor. Like people just don't think, dude. Like Derek can pick up the phone. We know people at the damn DOJ, man. It's that serious, right? And you really think we out here trying to scam people for a few $1,000? Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. Derek was a former police captain, bro. Are you people crazy? You want me to just walk to jail and do something crazy? Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Derek would put a butt whooping on us personally if that was the case.
No due diligence on all of us. Let's be real.
Yeah, and that's another thing, you know, especially when you're dealing with companies and other companies, you know, it takes time to come to agreements, to have, you know, certain things signed and stuff like that. A lot of people don't understand what, you know, how much it takes, just because they're so used to, well, Shih Tzu Inu done partnered with Turd Coin, you know, but you know, that's not a real partnership. They just helping each other, you know, type of thing. You know, when you're talking about legit businesses partnering in name, like going public, saying we're partnered, there's contracts, there's agreements, there's NDAs, there's a whole lot of shit that's got to be signed, verified, and re-signed again before they can come out public. Like, all right, so we're partnered, boom. Because, you know, just like I tell everybody, you know, I do everything I can to protect my name, protect my business. All these businesses, if they're legit running businesses, they're going to do everything they can to protect, and that includes, hey, you know what, I found a red flag in your company, I don't want to partner with you, but you know, it's not going to work out. You know what I'm saying? And it's just got to be like that. It's all business. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't understand what happens behind closed doors. You know what I mean? What it takes to run a business and to keep a business successful, and to keep your ass out of jail.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jason, what is your negative?
This is and this will be a good segue too. So, you know, one of the things that's some mega negative bullshit is just the nefarious activities that are in the crypto space, and it affects the Sky community. And I'm going to give you just a blunt example. We see people, and trust me, we all do this. You know, when you're in a token that's a long, there are many times where you're like, hey, I can get out of this token, go degen, hopefully make some money, and come back and have a better position. Well, we've seen way too many instances where people would do that, and then they would get into a token and get rugged. And so it doesn't just affect them. If you pull a big old chunk in a token that's only a $600,000 market cap, and then, you know, it affects the entire community and sentiment. And I'm not blaming it on individuals' fault. I'm blaming it on the nefarious activity and the general ecosystem. And so that was frustrating to see that, because it hurts, you know, existing community members. It hurts that individual. They just now they don't have a position in a very good opportunity going forward, and they got their money stolen by a nefarious actor in the space. Yeah. So, you know, we put our heads together and we said, you know what? Why are we not creating a meme token with advanced utilities and giving the opportunity for people to play in a safe meme token environment? And so then we created the Block Bulls token, And we have this massive ecosystem that we've built out. We've got this massive plan. We've actually rolled out this plan to actual business folks, the same folks that we're talking to on Thursday. They know about this plan. We've actually pitched this idea to VCs, and we talked about our strategy for growth, going into different networks and building out on different networks. And the feedback on has been incredibly positive. As a matter of fact, the feedback was like, damn, how did you guys come up with this strategy? And we get pitched, and we're talking about real VCs, real firms. They're like, we get pitched Web3 and crypto projects all the time. And I can't think of one that actually has a game plan of onboarding, quote, normies into the Web3 space like you guys have. And so, we've got this token. It's called Block Bulls token. It's a meme token, but we've got a lot behind it, a lot of growth and strategy that we have planned to implement. And, our goal is to go big with it as well. And so, we've gotten a lot of good feedback out of it, but we built it because of the nefarious activity that's in the space and all the bullshit that's in the space. And so, I would recommend checking it out, and consider joining as well.
I heard that, man. I heard that. Well, hey, look, I really appreciate you guys coming on, giving us the 411 on yourselves and the companies. You know what I mean? That is, people are looking for, legit shit especially right now. This is a different time in crypto. This is I really believe that this is one of those, where we've come to this moment where it's going to have this big shift in how the industry itself begins to operate. And we are in the beginning phases of that shift, and it's time for people to really educate themselves on cryptocurrency, what it is, how, and a lot of the stuff, even just the basics of, wallet creation, of, how to operate these different swaps. And one of the biggest things is looking at these, like the scans, all the scans, learn how to look at this blockchain, because this is not going away. I don't care what Joe Schmo down the road done told you that it's a scam. Hey, I'm telling you what, blockchain technology is not going away. The paper is, this currency that we are that is damn near worthless now is going away. Everything is going digital.
Yep.
Begin to learn how to navigate this digital world, or you're going to fall behind, and you're not going to survive it. Period. You're going to continue failure after failure, and if you're steadily listening to people that are failing, you're just going to be the next one. Hey, there's a saying. Hey, you know what? Hey, if you sit in a group with 10 millionaires, guess what? You're going to be the next millionaire. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of thing. Learn what you're doing, learn how to navigate the space, learn how to navigate this technology before it leaves you behind.
Yep.
Well said.
So
totally agree.
Like I said, hey, well, once again, man, I really appreciate you guys. This is an amazing discussion. We're gonna have to continue, man. We're gonna have to definitely run this back, do it again sometime, man. Look, hey, for everybody that's watching, going to watch, this is some. There's been a lot of amazing information put out about Sky and what they have going on. If you missed any of it, guess what? Hey, look, this is recorded. Rewind the tape. If you like to listen for your listening pleasures, this is also on. The audio will be posted on pretty much every listening platform that Apple, all that stuff, iHeartRadio, whatever the case may be, wherever your favorite listening pleasure is. Definitely check this out. There was a lot of information given out. This team, tell you what, I've been following this team for a very long. It's been 2 years now? 2?
Yeah,
it's been 2, and I'm telling you what. Hey, it's been quiet, but hey, the growth is there. And if you haven't seen it, you're just blind to the bullshit, because I'm gonna tell you what, hey, start paying attention. Look, you got to pay attention to what's going on with the ones that have been around for longer. at this point longer than if they've been around for longer than a year, you need to take a hard look at what they're doing right. Just keep that in mind. And especially, hey, for all these little tidbits that's been dropped through this thing, boy, hey, this ain't financial advice, but it's advice. You go do some research and get some education about yourself. So with that being said, hey, once again, appreciate everybody. Thank you everyone for stopping by. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna do this again sometime, and we are out of here.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit. Got a monster inside of me. You better watch out if you ignite me. The road ahead of full props.